Hi you guys, this is Lori and I'm doing my lock journey, right? So I've decided to document a few things simply because I've had so many issues with my locks. Although I love them, there's things that I don't like about them. I've talked about it in previous videos. But I kind of want to show you what I do when I have slippage. I have had so much slippage. As you see in this lock here, so not only is there slippage here, but there's slippage here as well. So I'm going to fix that. I've had to learn to maintain my own locks. And as much as people want to think this is a carefree style, for my type of hair, it is not carefree. I stay in my hair all the time. So again, I'm going to show you how to actually go in and fix a lock where there is been slippage. My locks have slipped at all points from the beginning to the end, mainly in the middle. If not, it starts from the end and goes up. But for instance, on this lock right here, you see that there is slippage from here. So the type of hair that I have, I don't have a lot of shrinkage. So my locks are kind of my locks. So you can even see that there's some slippage there. They drive me crazy. They're really small. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. This video is for maintaining and fixing your own locks when you have slippage. So what I do is I just literally take a toothbrush and I go in and I start from wherever the slippage starts and I try to pull it down. Pull it down. So if you remember, I had 2 holes. I'm making those 2 holes 1 hole. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to pull it down so that it's locking to the bottom. And so even with my particular loctician, she'll go all the way to the top. I don't like doing that for fixing my own. So what I'll do is now I'll fix this 1 hole that I've created. So you want to continue to do whatever you call your east, west, north, south, or your clockwise literally from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, which now you'll see I'll come up and through to my 6 o'clock. I'm going to bring it back, and then 12 o'clock, top to bottom. As I do it, I kind of pull the hairs because I'm trying to get rid of the frizziness. I have so much frizziness in my locks that I want to kind of get rid of that. So you can tell the locks that I've done and the locks that my loctician did. I'll show you that in another video. But for now, we're just going to continue in that around the clock motion. So you always want to be sure to go through the middle of the lock as opposed to just grabbing a couple. And even though it may look like I'm going through the same spot, I'm switching fingers and I'm going differently through my lock. And even if you noticed here, I'm switching my hands because I can do 2 this way. I can switch my hands and I'm going back. So I know I'm going really fast. You can slow the video down, but even with my thumbs, I know that that's the up and down motion. And so I'm coming back through. And again, in the middle of the lock, and this is a repair, so even if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's better than the slippage I got going on. So I'm using the thumb now on this hand, and I'm bringing that lock through this side. So I actually have, for me and my far side itself, I can't see up close. So for instance, I can't do it in the phone, but I have my phone attached to the mirror and I can see the mirror. So I'm actually looking through the mirror. So forgive me if you don't feel like I'm paying close attention to you in this tutorial. I am paying close attention to the lock and trying to get that lock established to be created into one continuous beautiful lock as opposed to the slippage I had going on. When it gets so close, like normally I would do a few more, but when it gets so close that I am now, I don't want to put stress on the hair by putting my fingers through it. I have my little tool here. And what this is literally, it was a larger needle, just a knitting needle that I was able to take And at first I used the whole needle. My locks have always been long enough. They kind of, I got my hair locked when my hair was longer. And so I could use this, but I found it so much easier to just use this small piece here. So what I've done is I've kind of made a point, an angled point at the tip so that it's not sticking through. It kind of goes through and I can guide it better. So I take my hair, get it through there, and I can literally go through the exact same motion. And I'm still, even if it looks like I'm going through the same spot, I am not. I am twisting the lock as I go through it. So I'm still keeping my, again, north, east, south, west, or if you like to use the clock method, I go from literally, if this is, see, I'm going through this way. So if that is 3 o'clock, next I'm gonna go straight up through 6 o'clock, and I'm still keeping my 4-point rotation. So this would be 9 o'clock, and then I come back through 12 o'clock. And I continue to do that. This is still 12 o'clock. I continue to do that until that hole there. And I am meticulous, so I don't want any gaps. So I'm going back through. And I use my thumb to guide me, which is why I wanted to get rid of that pointy end and kind of angle it out. And see, so for instance, even if it looks like I'm not still doing my clock rotation, when I'm grabbing my lock, I'm spinning it and I'm going through where I'm supposed to go through, just like that. This is going to be what we would call our 6 o'clock. So I'm coming up and through. When I do 12, I go down and out. So you want to make sure. And at this point, my lock is pretty much closed. I just want it tight. So there. So we went from that, what I call raggedy slippage lock, into what we have here, my completed lock that I fixed from the inside. So the middle of my lock had really slipped. And so I fixed that lock there. Let's talk about edges while we're here. So for me, my edges, I've always had alopecia since I was a little girl. So I really protect these locks. They can always be considered baby locks, no matter how long they get. My loctician, when she did my locks, she didn't close my ends. So a lot of my slippage came from that as well, because even if she locked, let's say 7 or 8 inches, my hair was 9 or 11 inches. So I've always had these open ends, which I like because they created this curly look, and I still wanted my curly look. So with that said, my edges on both sides, I make sure I keep a kind of close look, and I kind of document how my edges are doing. And so that way I can keep an eye on my edges. I don't let my edges grow out, because as they grow out, they get weaker. For me, a lot of people don't want to tighten too much. They think that affects their edges. For me and my edges, as they grow out, they get weaker. You can see the hairs that are no longer coming from the lock to the scalp. So I kind of keep my edges on tighter. Plus, I can't stand the frizz. So keeping my edges done kind of holds down on the frizz. And that is my repair and edge lock journey. So I'll be doing several videos that you can kind of see the different ways I've learned, because I'm always in my hair. I have learned so many neat tricks and tips that I'll be sharing with you. So come back and join me.